Hello and welcome to the Inside Stylist podcast, where we talk all about interiors with interviews with interior stylists, writers and the fabulous homeware brands that make a house a home. I also catch up with industry experts in the know and get them to share all their knowledge and advice. There's so much to talk about. I'm your host, Emma Morton-Turner, an interior stylist and writer with a ton of experience. I set up InsideStylist.com so I can share all that interiors love with you. So don't forget to head on over to the website for not only the show notes from today's episode, but regular interior blog posts and a whole host of inspiration on the interior stylists and writers' profiles. But for now, enjoy the show. Hello, how's everyone doing? Is everyone melting in this fantastic sunshine? You know the moment the sun comes out like this and it gets really warm, it is Christmas in July. So for anyone who doesn't know what Christmas in July is, it's when all the shops and brands showcase what they're going to be selling at Christmas. So editorial staff know what they can put in their magazines. We work on editorial pretty much kind of August, September, you've already done your first Christmas issue for December. So we need to know ahead of the time what's happening. And that's what Christmas in July is all about. I thought it would be quite interesting and fun to share with you behind the scenes of what happens at Christmas in July. And I'm going to be sharing the 10 good, bad and damn right ugly things about Christmas in July. Because I think it can look a bit glam, but actually it's not. So I'm going to do this in 10 minutes. Like I said, this is a 10 in 10. I'm already down to 9 minutes. Number one, if you ask anybody who goes to Christmas in July events what their favourite thing about it is, 9 times out of 10, they will say it is fabulous to catch up with people. It's really lovely to bump into people, whether that's someone you've worked with in the past or just friends you've met via Instagram or PRs. I always say it's really good to build relationships with PRs, and the best way to chat to them is when they are standing right in front of you at a launch, sharing all the details about the new brands, all excited. So definitely meeting up and chatting with everybody. Of course, the chatting is actually a bit of a downside. I think my launches that I went to this week, I've done 6 this week. I think they probably could have been sped up if I didn't bump into quite so many people. But that's just the fun of it. I don't think I'll ever not talk. You probably picked up on that, didn't you? Number 2, you get to hear experts in their field share their knowledge. It could be an in-house designer. Yesterday I was at Sainsbury's and I heard a panel discussion with a fantastic colour psychologist, and she was just sharing so much information. It was really enlightening and really inspiring on how you can bring colour into a room that evokes the feelings that you want. I mean, I kind of understand it, but she went into such detail. It was fascinating, and I love all that kind of gritty detail. Number 3, you get to see what's new in gifting. Now, 9 times out of 10, you're going to know what the alcohol is. And if I said to you, what do you think the alcohol of choice for gifting this year is going to be? You would all say in unison, 1, 2, 3, gin. It's still gin. Also, Lego. It's interactive Lego. But anyway, you'll have to check that out. Tesco's was showing that and it was fascinating. But it's really good to have insight into what that... I mean, a lot of people, you'll do interior sets, but everybody does gift guides. So it's really good to see what everyone is doing for the gifting. And also, I don't know if it's just me, but I tend to do my gift list for my family and my friends around this time. Because I see it all and I just have a mental picture of what I want to do. And then by the end of the shoots and the features and everything like that for editorial side of things, I'm kind of lost as to where I really am. I kind of forget that it's not really Christmas. When you do it so intensely for so long, you just feel like it must be Christmas now. Of course, it's not. It's usually September. Number 4, it will be hot. It will be hay fevery. You need to take your hat and your sun cream and your sunglasses. And while we're on the topic, don't be embarrassed to take a trolley or a suitcase. Last year, I got so hot carrying, it sounds really bad, but I got given a bottle of wine and it was my 3rd bag and it was all getting a bit heavy. It was about 100 degrees. Literally, I had to get on a bus to get to the next launch and it was awful. And I really regretted not taking my my dolly trolley with. My dolly trolley actually broke this year, so I haven't managed to replace it yet. I do need to sort that out because I think 3 is the most you can do without needing a trolley. And on average, actually, this year's not so bad. Normally, there would be one day where there's about 7 or 8 launches. And actually, I think we're averaging, there's 4 or 5 in a day next week, but most of them aren't too bad. It's more like 4. But yeah, don't be embarrassed to take a dolly trolley. It's so much more important to save your back, because it's disgustingly hot and sticky, and no one should have to carry tons of bags like that. Number 5, eco, eco, eco. Everybody is doing the green thing. The buzzword is sustainability. And I love that. But I love hearing how the brands are taking it on to the next level, because I think everybody is doing something. But when you're at the launches, you hear exactly what it is that they're doing. And this week, there's 2 that have stood out. Tesco's were very good. You kind of walk into the Tesco's launch and you have to walk through all the food, a lot of which isn't edible because it's for show and they don't have enough samples for you to taste. But what the lady who was one of the buyers for food was telling me is that they don't use black plastic packaging anymore, because the black plastic isn't recyclable. They use clear, and back in the day people would use black because it looked more classy, and clear was considered to be cheap and nasty. This is something I learned last year. This isn't what Tesco's was telling me, but you see, this is the kind of thing, it's behind the scenes thing that I really like. But yeah, so the clear plastic was seen to be less expensive, but now it's had a turnaround because everyone wants to be clean, eco, sustainable, so they're only using recyclable plastic, which is the white plastic, and they are working towards removing it completely and doing things like their gifting isn't in as much packaging as possible. It's in cardboard, not plastic. It's in tin cans that you can keep, so you don't have to have any packaging at all. Another thing that they're working on at the moment is no more disposable glitter. So there'll be no glitter on cards or a gift wrap or anything that you throw away. It will only be on things that you keep. So it will still be on decorations, but it just won't be on anything you throw away. So that's a step in the right direction. When you think how many cards and gift wrap and things Tesco sell every year, that will make an impact over the years, especially if everyone else does it. The other thing that I was really impressed with was Pure PR. They have their packaging promise, and I didn't know they did this, but it's really clever and it's really, really impressive. And if everybody listened to what they were doing and took note, it's actually quite simple. So what they do is they have this packaging promise. Everything goes in cardboard. Even the brown tape they use is recyclable. And what they do is, I don't know if you know this, but PR brands will have to buy all the magazines and all the newspapers to see if any of their clients are featured. So can you imagine the sheer amount of paper that is? And what they do is they shred all of the old ones. Every time they get a new one, they'll shred the old ones and then they use that as packaging. So they're recycling it. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. Obviously, you should keep your magazines, but let's face it, no one keeps everything. And especially newspapers. Newspapers are so quick and fast, you couldn't possibly keep them all. So that is a really genius thing to do. And if a few people did that, because I don't mind bubble wrap. I know it's bad for the environment. I don't mind it. But polystyrene drives me insane. I just hate it. It's messy. It's so bad for the environment. And paper is brilliant for packaging stuff. I've used it so often for packing up props. So well done, Pure PR. Well done, Tesco's. They're the 2 that have stood out so far. But things like that are shared at Christmas in July a lot. And that's really good to hear. So good on you. I think at the end of the season, I might do a big roundup blog on who's doing what sustainably wise. So if you hear this and you're doing something, let me know, because I think it's really good to champion these people. I am so going to go over 10 minutes, aren't I? Right, let's see. Number 6, you'll get a behind the scenes look at products and how they're made. So I saw Burleigh China, who do those really fabulous chintzy china teapots and plates and everything they're making for Ralph Lauren now, and he showed me how you have a blank one and then they print onto this tissue, and the tissue is put onto the teapot by these 10 ladies who are the only ones who can do it, and then it's kind of removed. And it was just really fascinating to see how they get that crazy pattern. And when you look at it being put on, you can see all creases in the paper. And actually, if you look at a teapot, you can see the creases, but you would never have noticed that in a million years unless someone had shown you that behind the scenes thing. So that's really cool. Number 7, charity. So lots of brands do things for charity. Now, I didn't actually know. I was at Hobbycraft yesterday, and they were sharing the charity that they're supporting is called Together for Short Lives. So obviously it's for children who have a terminal condition. They have pennies at the till point, and I think that means they round it up, or they'll say, do you want to add a couple of pennies to your bill. And just from doing that alone, they've made £346,000 just from adding a little bit of change onto the thing. So that's really good. I love hearing the charity work that they do. And it's like seamless. It's just like 5p carrier bags of making, oh my God, the 5p carrier bags from Hobbycraft have made £232,000. So it's brilliant stuff. Number 8, you get to do workshops. I love a workshop. Sometimes you don't have time to stop, but it's really nice to learn a new skill. And Sainsbury's yesterday had a workshop for dried flower wreaths, and they were so cool. They were like, some of them were just like a copper ring, some of them were wicker. They were all different, but they looked so amazing in the dried flowers. So that was really good. And I learned how to do macrame. I learned how to do that on this massive gold star at Hobbycraft. And I know how to do some knots, but she showed me a whole new way of doing it. It was really cool. I swiped a ball of them macrame wool. Don't tell them. Okay, number 9. This is the ugly. Now, I had to think about, seriously, should I share this? But I'm going to share it because everyone I've mentioned it to on the rounds, I've only done 6 launches so far, 6 Christmas launches in the last couple of days. But the ugly is when you'll be crying big fat tears because you've got lost. You're going to the wrong place on the wrong day and probably at the wrong time. I got myself so lost the other day and I was just getting really hot and bothered. It's always when it's the hottest, sunniest day. And I nearly gave up completely and went home and thought, right, I'm not doing this. I'll just do it from lookbooks. But I got to Tesco's and I bumped into some friends, and then I ended up going around to the 3 launches with them, which was an absolute lifesaver because it gets so stressful. But all the people that I've mentioned it to, a number of them have gone, yeah, I've done that. I've gone to the wrong place on the wrong day. I've got the wrong time. They finished at 4 o'clock and I turned up at 5. There's always going to be a time where we get it completely wrong. So I'm glad it's not just me. So anyone who shared that with me recently, thank you. I don't feel quite so bad. And finally, number 10, the good. I'm launching the Inside Christmas in July Awards. It's just going to be for fun. I'm putting together some categories, but you can add some if you like. If you think there's something I'm missing, then let me know and we'll add it in. And I'll do a little poll at the end of the season. But so far, I have got Best Christmas Show, Best Workshop. I think that could be Best or Most Original. Best Christmas Decoration Found in a Gift Bag. And this is because my daughter picked up something I was given this week. She just held up this decoration, looked at me and went, why? Because she just didn't get it. It was quite kitsch. It just really made me laugh. Best Tastes, because I had some fabulous tastes this week. I tried this beautiful fig chutney by Trucklements, and they had piccalilli and all sorts, and they just put this tiny bit of fig chutney with goat cheese on these tiny little really hard crackers, and it was just divine. I could not stop thinking about it. And another category I'm going to do is Best Tipple, because there's so many people getting you to taste their gins and all this sort of stuff. And another thing I tried this week was something called a fruit shrub, and I'd never heard of that before, but it was like really thick and sweet and tangy at the same time, and you can drink it on its own. It's not alcoholic. You can add Prosecco to it to make it into kind of a cocktail, and I just thought, wow, that would be amazing. So that would be really cool. And then I'm also going to have a little tally. I think it's quite interesting to see if we get repeats. So far in the tally, we've got candles, gin and chocolates. With the 6 launches that I've been to this week, the tally currently stands at candle, 1, gin, and I mean small little bottles, 3, and chocolates, 1. So there you have it. That's my 10. I hope it's made you smile. I hope it's given you a little insight into what Christmas in July is all about. I look forward to sending that poll out and seeing what everyone else thinks about the events this year. Until next time, bye for now. Thanks for listening to the Inside Stylist podcast. You'll find all the details from today's show over on the show notes at insidestylist.com. If you enjoy the show, I'd love it if you would head on over to iTunes and rate and review it. It's the best way to help other people find the show, and I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, bye for now.